There's a version of this story where I'm the villain, where I'm the cold, successful son who looked at his sick, aging parents and said, "Not my problem." I've read that version of myself in their eyes. I've heard it in my mother's voice when she stopped mid-sentence and just went quiet. But there's another version, the one where a 34-year-old man realized that love, real love, doesn't mean writing a blank check to people who never once asked what it would cost you. This is the story of the day I drew a line and what it nearly cost me to hold it. I'm a physician. I want to say that not to impress you, but because it matters to what comes next. I spent the better part of my 20s in debt, in hospitals, surviving on 4 hours of sleep and cold coffee. I deferred everything, relationships, savings, a life, to build something stable, something real. By 34, I had finally reached the other side, and that's exactly when my parents called. My mom and dad are in their late 60s. I'm an only child, always have been. Growing up, that meant I was everything to them, their project, their plan, their investment. My mom was diagnosed with a slow-growing cancer a few years ago. My dad has early-stage Alzheimer's. He still drives, still makes his own coffee in the morning. But we all know what that diagnosis means eventually. We just don't say it out loud. Realistically, and I say this as their doctor, almost, as much as their son, we're looking at roughly 5 years for my mom, 12 for my dad. Right now they're managing frozen meals, a cleaning service twice a week, their 2 dogs keeping them company in the apartment they rent for $2,800 a month. They have $8,000 a month coming in before taxes and about $800,000 in savings. They're not wealthy, but they're not desperate either. They told me they wanted to move into a senior's residence in about a year. I thought, okay, that's responsible. That's planning ahead. Let's figure this out together. I should have known it wouldn't be that simple. They had already found the place. Not a place. The place. A senior's residence in one of the most expensive neighborhoods. One of the most expensive in America, honestly. $11,000 a month for independent living, meaning meals, light housekeeping, some activities, no actual medical care included, no personal support, no medication management. That would all be extra. And if my dad ever progresses, when my dad progresses, to assisted living or long-term care within that same building, we're talking 2 to 3 times that monthly cost. I sat with those numbers for a long time. I did the math the way I do everything, methodically, quietly, in my head, before I said a word out loud. Their income covers maybe $5,000 a month after taxes and living expenses. The facility costs $11,000. That's a $6,000 gap every single month, before any care upgrades. Their $800,000 in savings, which sounds like a lot, would be gone in roughly 10 years at that burn rate, and my dad is projected to need care for 12. They were building a plan that would run out of money before it ran out of time. The unspoken part, the part nobody said directly but everyone understood, was that I would be there when it did, that I would step in, cover the gap, month after month, year after year, with costs that would only climb. I tried to be reasonable. I researched other options, genuinely good ones, quality residences with excellent care, warm communities, professional staff, just not in one of the top 2% of neighborhoods in the country. My mother dismissed every single one. Now, I need you to understand something about my mom. She has always been this way, not cruel, not malicious, but impossible to satisfy in a way that wears you down slowly, like water on stone. Growing up, a good grade was almost good enough. An achievement was fine, but did I consider what came next? A success was nice, but there was always something slightly wrong with it. I love her, but I know her. And I knew, sitting there looking at the brochure for the Carisdale residence, with its gleaming lobby and its Sunday brunches and its panoramic views, that even if I paid for it, it would not make her happy. It never does. Here's the part that keeps me up at night. I could afford it, technically, not comfortably, not without giving things up, career flexibility, the ability to move cities, relationships, the margin that lets you make choices freely. But technically, the money exists, and my parents are sick. My mom has cancer. My dad is slowly losing himself to a disease that doesn't negotiate. These are not abstract problems. These are my parents, the people who raised me, the people I love. Part of me felt like a monster. What kind of son does this math? What kind of person looks at their sick parents and pulls out a spreadsheet? But then I thought about the other side of that question. What kind of parents build a retirement plan that depends on their child as a financial backstop, without ever asking if that's something their child could carry, without ever considering what it would cost them? Because no one asked me. There was no conversation. No, what do you think? No, is this something you'd be able to help with? There was just an expectation, a quiet, assumed certainty that I would be there when the money ran out, the same way I had always been there, shaped to fit whatever space they needed me to fill. And I realized something in that moment. Helping someone isn't the same as being responsible for every consequence of every choice they make. They had options, good ones, sustainable ones. They weren't choosing this place because it was the only one that could care for them. They were choosing it because it was the best one, the most impressive one, and they expected me to make it possible. I told them no, not no to helping them, not no to being their son, their support, their person when things get hard, no to this specific plan, no to positioning myself as an open-ended financial guarantee for a lifestyle their own resources couldn't sustain. I told them I would help them find somewhere excellent, somewhere safe, warm, well-staffed, with a real community and proper care, somewhere their money could actually last. And I told them that if a genuine crisis came, a real one, where their well-being was at stake, I would be there. But I would not fund a decade-long shortfall for a luxury address in a neighborhood most people in this city will never afford, when perfectly good alternatives exist and they simply don't want them. My mom went quiet in that way she does. My dad looked out the window, and the word nobody said, the one that hung in the air between us, was heartless. Maybe they're right. Maybe a better son would have just said yes, would have found a way, would have swallowed the cost and the constraint and the years of it because they're his parents and they're sick and that's what you do. Or maybe the hardest thing love can do is refuse to be used as an excuse for someone else's choices. I don't know which son I am yet. I'm still figuring that out. So I want to ask you something, not whether I was right or wrong, because honestly, I'm not sure there's a clean answer here. But this: where is the line between being a devoted child and being a financial plan someone else made without you? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and if this story hits somewhere close to home, you already know why. Take care of yourself.